closing arguments. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday. I'm Julia Janae, filling in for Vinnie Politan. He's on assignment filming season 2 of Accomplice to Murder. And we here beginning this hour in Tennessee, covering the murder case against Annette Harvey. Harvey is accused of stabbing her friend, Robin Leonard, several times, leading to her death 11 days later. They were longtime friends. At the time, Harvey believed that her husband was in a pedophile cult, one that was determined to traffic her kids. And Leonard had actually taken temporary custody of her friend's kids in an attempt to keep them safe. A little confusing, but it's all playing out for this jury. And today, Harvey took the stand in her own defense. She's pleaded insanity in this case. She explained how she believes this deadly altercation went down between her and the victim.
You've seen the wreckage that room became.
I know.
Do you remember anything? You remember spinning around and being thrown about, or you throwing her about, or anything? Some kind of terrific fight going on inside that room?
I don't trust my memory, Mr. Spurrell. I know what I think I remember.
Well, I mean, are you saying you have a fragmentary memory or fragments of memory? Or?
I'm saying just bits and pieces of flashes of pictures in my head that I've been trying to put together for 3 years. And I can't put it together. I remember Robin having a hold of me, like in a, I don't know, almost like a bear hug, or like a wrestling kind of hold, and try to get her off me. I remember the bath. I remember seeing red and silver coming at me. I remember that. And I remember trying to run for my life. I couldn't leave. I didn't have my car keys, and so I had to run back in and see where my keys were. So I couldn't see. My head was gushing blood. And it was blocking my. It was hard to see.
What was your thought process as you finally got out onto the roadway, if you remember?
Well, as I was running out of the back door, I thought I was going to get shot at. I thought next somebody's going to shoot me. That I had to run away, because
Where did you go?
I was going to just try to go somewhere where they couldn't find me. The people that was trying to kill me. And I had to find a needle and thread and sew my head up.
It's always a big day in court when the defendant takes the stand in their own defense. Let's bring in the think tank. We've got a power panel tonight. Joining us from Los Angeles, California, Deputy Public Defender for LA County, Philip Dubé, is with us. Also in New York City, former senior homicide prosecutor and founder of the Villalona Law firm, Bernardo Villalona, is with us. And in Las Vegas, Nevada, family law attorney and law professor at Emory University, Randy Kessler, is with us. Out of town a bit, Randy, but good to see everyone here. This is a big moment to have a defendant on the stand, Philip Dubé. Was this the right move for the Harvey defense? And I want to clarify that they've argued diminished capacity in this case.
Yeah, I think it's a good move only if they're going to put an expert on, because I think under Tennessee law, you've got to, first of all, establish that there is a mental disorder or mental defect. And then obviously at the time of the offense, she lacked the capacity to form the intent to kill, but you need an expert to buttress that with some type of official clinical diagnosis. If all you have is her self-diagnosing, I'm not sure that a jury could embrace that. She does come off as a very sympathetic figure, but unless and until you have an expert saying she acted within the means of her psychosis at the time or her mental illness, then the jury might feel they have no alternative but to convict her. I'm not sure on these facts if I would have gone with a diminished capacity, frankly. I might have pursued a voluntary manslaughter where you have a provoked heat of passion that caused her to fly off the handle and kill. I mean, you have a woman who supposedly has her kids. She wants the kids back. There's no telling when she can get the kids back. She's trying to negotiate with this foster mom, custodial mom. Can't get the kids back. She wants to have the last word. And then all of a sudden, you know, she, for lack of a better term, goes postal and kills the good professor. I think a jury could embrace that, I think, probably easier than the psychosis defense with diminished capacity if she doesn't have an expert.
Bernardo, what do you think about the way that she testified? She talked about seeing different colors and that she can't really rely on her own memory at the time, and she got emotional. Do you think that's going to resonate with a jury when it comes to diminished capacity? Are they just going to say, look, it's clear she blacked out?
And so I think what the defense should have done first is possibly put it on that expert first, put on that doctor first to testify about her mental state, because it'll give more explanation as to what she's testifying about. Because while she's saying that she's blacking out and that she doesn't remember certain things, but she's also getting emotional about it, it doesn't put things into context for this type of defense without a doctor coming out and telling you what is the relevance of this, why you should credit this, what you should pay attention to, how this is being corroborated by medical testimony. So it all depends. I mean, in the end, it's going to be up to those 12 jurors to determine, do they find her credible? Do they find her medical expert credible? And do they buy her defense? Because they're not saying that she did not commit this homicide. They're saying that she did not have the mental capacity to make out this specific crime that she's been charged with.
That certainly makes all the difference. It's going to come down to really some legal understanding for this jury. Randy, I want to get your reaction to this. There was another witness on the stand today, and he's important because this delusion that the defendant has, everyone who knew about it said that it was stemming from her belief that her husband, Michael Slattery, who took the stand today, was running an international pedophile ring, child pedophile ring, and that she was trying to get away from him. He took the stand, and here's what he had to say, plus her reaction.
How shocking would it be to you to know that at that birthday party was the first time that your wife disclosed to Robin her being convinced that you were the leader of some international gang of pedophiles, that you were threatening your children, that you were dispatching kidnappers to pick up your children, and that she considered you an imminent and present danger to her life?
I couldn't imagine that.
Well, how did you respond to her when she said that?
I said, that's the most crazy thing I ever heard. And then it was, well, you know, you're just jealous because I'm having an affair. And I'm like, you're not having an affair. And then it just, she had this idea that everybody was in love with her, like, inappropriately, and that she was just it. And it was crazy. And then the tide went out again. I guess I keep referring to that. And then it was okay. And I prayed about it, and I prayed with her. And I'm like, look, I'm not trying to kill you. I'm not trying to kill anybody. I don't know what you're talking about.
Randy, he's an important witness for both the state and the defense. What did you make of how his testimony impacts things now?
Well, his testimony was important, but wow, what a question, right? That's the kind of question we all live for. We all dream about getting to ask. I mean, the whole world knows what's coming. He's going to say something like, that crazy person thinks that, you know, he set it up so perfectly. The question was really good. He is a good witness. But going back to the expert witness, you know, Tennessee is an interesting state. I may be in Las Vegas, the big game, but I did my research, and I know in Tennessee to claim, you know, insanity defense, I know this is not quite an insanity defense, they actually are not allowed to have an expert. They leave it up to the jury, so to speak. So we're in some interesting times, but this witness, yeah, it's sort of hard to say that she is believable and he's not, right? I mean, it's just sort of that question right there, that she's saying that about him. As long as he holds his own, testifies calmly, like he did, credibly, that just puts the kibosh on her testimony, in my opinion.
Yeah, Philip, he's certainly not under any kind of scrutiny. It was said many times through her testimony that even the one thing that may have happened early in their marriage where someone's daughter accused him of some kind of impropriety, that it was found to be unfounded and there was no validity. And she's saying that on the stand. So it almost seems that this was just a temporary thing versus how she was testifying today. How does that play when you're looking at diminished capacity and what these jurors are going to be taking in?
Well, I think it supports this idea that she may have some type of a delusional disorder. You know, she is convinced that he had these past practices of pedophilia or whatever it was, and it was in fact just a delusion. It just simply was not true. All that really matters is if at the time of the stabbing, whatever was going on in her mind helped somehow contribute to her inability to form the intent to kill. If at that moment in time she lacked the capacity, the jury can find her not guilty. We saw this, I don't know if you remember this, years ago in California. We had what's called the Twinkie defense. It was that Harvey Milk killing where Dan White was a former supervisor on the board for the city of San Francisco. He was eating all this sugary food. He tried to get reinstated to the board. The mayor wouldn't reappoint him, and he shot and killed Harvey Milk. And his defense at trial was diminished capacity, that all the sugary food at that moment in time caused him to basically go postal. But and he was acquitted in reaction to that. California repealed diminished capacity, so we don't even have it anymore. But I could see how it could be a viable defense in Tennessee, but I'm not so sure about the expert thing. I think they have to put somebody on to buttress it, because she cannot self-diagnose.
The Twinkie defense, now codified as a law school fact pattern. Let's talk about what's going on right now. So this evening, the state delivered their closing argument. So both sides have rested. We're at the end of this. The jury has all of the evidence. We've got just a brief look at what the state had to say in their closing tonight.
The defendant raised that knife and she stabbed Robin. She was stabbed, she was slashed on her body and her hands, trying to stop the attack. She ran to get away from this. Hands up, slashes in her fingers across her palms. And she ran to the bedroom to get that bat that she kept at the edge of her bed. Alex told you that it was the only thing they could convince her to keep, to have something for protection in the neighborhood. And as she ran, she was being stabbed again and again and again in her back. As she reached for a weapon to defend herself, she was stabbed again and again.
The defense is going to wait and give their closings on Monday, and that's when the jury is going to get this case and start deliberating. Bernardo, the final word on this. What do you think the jury is going to do with this? This has been charged as a first-degree murder case, and we don't know what the lesser includeds are yet, if any. Your thoughts on where this might end?
I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's going to fall in her favor. I think the jury is going to find her guilty because I just don't think that her defense is viable enough. I don't think she put anything enough forward for the jury to buy that defense. What's sad is that I would not have wanted a jury to go home without hearing the defense's closing arguments, because now they have all weekend to be thinking about what the prosecution had said to them. They're going to be thinking about that tonight, Saturday, Sunday, and they won't hear from the defense until Monday. So the prosecution has an advantage.
Timing can mean a lot. We do have to squeeze in a